How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another Gaza Valley video. Just going for a walk out in the bush again on these tracks. Today it's pretty overcast, so it's not going to be the clearest video, but I don't know, I just wanted to do a quick video. Let's talk about the narcissists and what they want and who they are, that type of thing. I was just thinking, like, in the beginning, when you meet them and things, like, you think you've met this wonderful person, this perfect person that's the right one for you and everything, the soulmate, the twin flame. Everything moves light speed, everything's going so quickly. And you get inklings or feelings that, oh, hang on, this is going a bit fast and everything like that. But you just roll along with it, because you're thinking, like, for whatever reason, you're feeling like a bit lonely, or you're feeling sad, or you're feeling like you need some company, and you need someone in your life, of course, like most of us do. And so you start going on trips together, or going to different places together and enjoying, time together and everything. And, of course you don't realize it at the time, but they're like mirroring you. So they're giving you this, this reflection of you, mirroring back all your virtues and qualities, different characteristics. And you're thinking, wow, this person's amazing, like, we've got a lot in common. Or like, we're getting along like a house on fire. And you're thinking, like, you're telling people, like, they're amazing. Telling like your family, friends and things, like, I've met this person, it's wonderful, everything, she's like really cool, this and that. Like, people, seem quite happy about, So it's all good in the start, it's all peaches and cream, it's all like puppies and rainbows, butterflies, It's like they idealize you. It's like co-idealization. It's like you idealize one another. It's like, in their eyes, like, you're perfect. And you're seeing them like perfect too, because it's like, you're just thinking they're amazing, you're just like swept off your feet and everything. You just all love bombed up. And things are just moving light speed and you're thinking this is wonderful and everything, but they're giving you the hot and cold all of a sudden. They start, with the comments, like the insults, derogatory comments and stuff. You're like, where's this coming from? Just guilt tripping you on things, blame shifting, more and more arguments, the hot and cold, Yeah, the push and pull, pleasure and pain, that intermittent reinforcement. And it's just shocking. You're like, where's this coming from? And it's just like you're getting hit with trauma, you're getting hit with this abuse. They've got this insatiable need for power and control, and they just want to, you know, like dominate you. It's like they want to control you. They want to, like, you know, it's like put you in a prison of like pain, but you keep like trying to save the relationship. You keep sweeping like the red flags under the rug. You keep, you know, denying the red flags, and more, you know, you're being like divorced from reality, because they're brainwashing you, and they're like coercing you into this like shared fantasy. And of course you don't know it, because, you know, this is, you know, never happened before, and it's like, you know, it's all crazy making. So you're feeling good, you're feeling bad, and you're feeling like more and more confused, and it's throwing your equilibrium all over the place, and like your nervous system's all over the place, like, and yet you're still in there trying to, like, you're still in this relationship trying to save it. You're trying to like fix it. Well, you say to yourself things like, oh, they're just having a bad day, like things are going to get better. You know, they're just dealing with a couple of things or things like that. You just overlook things. You just like sweep things under the rug. But the abuse just goes on and on and on. And it's like you're trying to get back those, you know, the times where it was all good again. You know, you're trying to get back to the times where, you know, it was all puppies and rainbows, and you were doing, you know, things together, and you thought, yeah, it was good times. But they're just taking you on this emotional roller coaster and getting you addicted. Getting you addicted to them. But you think it's like love. You think you're falling in love with this, you know, the ideal person and everything. So of course, because we're empathic, because we do have love and we do have empathy, effective empathy, you know, and we can connect to people, we're like, we want to do our best. We want to save the relationship. We want to make it better. We want to fix it. So we do everything in our power to fix a situation, to make them happy. But because they've got this void inside, they've got this black hole inside, they're empty. Because when they were younger, they abandoned who they are. They abandoned their true self. They sacrificed their true self. When they were younger, they were victimized, they were abused, they were neglected. You know, or pedestalized, you know, or treated like the golden child, or like, some form of, of extreme abuse, and like that just made them like, made them feel shame and made them feel like they weren't good enough. And that they had to abandon their true self and, put on this false self. So now it's like they want to rewrite the script with their intimate partner. Because when they were younger, they got victimized. They got abused, neglected, pedestalized, treated like nothing, or, they were abused. So they just want to take out that abuse now on their victims. And so they learnt all these different tactics, of manipulation. They learned how to, trick people, like deceive people and like trap them inside this like web of delusions, like this prison of like this psychological prison of like torture, so they can then extract narcissistic supply because they need narcissistic supply, because if they don't get that supply they feel like they don't exist. They need narcissistic supply. They start to feel like, like they're gonna die. Or go into mortification, have some form of collapse. So they have to consistently have, supply. That's why they're like back and forth doing all this crazy stuff, like having all these, all this different supply and things like that. But it's all just to keep them afloat. It's like a drug to them. It's like cocaine to them. It gives them a sense of like, elation. It's like narcissistic elation, or, narcissistic euphoria. But these people are like sad. They're like miserable. Like, these are not happy people. These are people that they've got depression. They've got like different forms of depression. But yeah, they take you through the love bombing stage where it's all good, but then they go into devaluation where they just, gaslighting, guilt tripping, blame shifting, stonewalling you, making you feel like you don't even exist. And they just empty you out. They just want to shell you out. It's like they want you to share, sharing the cemetery or something like this, like, because they're like the Walking Dead. They're like the living dead. It's like outside, the shell of them and that, it looks like a human, it looks like, you're like, okay, this person's a human. You know, they give you the impression that this person's got it all together. They've got love, empathy, you know, joy, happiness, peace, you know. They could be a committed person. They seem like they've got it all together. And yet they've got none of that. And they're not about a relationship. They're not about, you know, loyalty, commitment, respect, you know, sharing a, you know, reciprocal relationship back and forth with balance, you know, peace, love, joy, understanding. They're not about that. They're not about building a future together with you. They just want to use you, abuse you, you know, use you for your narcissistic supply, your attention, your validation, your admiration. You know, they want to, like, you know, turn you into some dead person that doesn't have emotions, doesn't have any kind of like feelings. They just want to take away your independence, you know, your self-efficacy, your self-agency, your autonomy. You know, anything that means anything to you. It's like your passions and things like that. They just want to take all that away from you. And at the same time, they want to steal your characteristics. You know, they're learning all these things from you. Because they don't have a real, you know, they don't have an authentic personality. They don't have they don't have an identity. You know, their personality is just made up of, like, you know, bits and pieces of, you know, other people, just interactions that they've had with other people, or just things that they've seen on the internet, or things that they've seen on their computer, or, you know, things that they've seen on their phone. And they just take bits and pieces of people and just, like, add it to their mask. They just add it to their personality, their false personality. They're just fake characters. And they don't have a core. You know, they're living in a fantasy 24/7. You know, they don't have a integrated, constellated self. You know, they're kaleidoscopic in their mind and stuff. It's like, you know, they're not even interacting with reality, because you need an ego to interact with reality, and they just have the false self. They don't have a self. And they just Photoshop or take a snapshot of people in the beginning when they meet them. When they meet people, for example, like intimate partners, and they just Photoshop that avatar in their mind, and then they idealize it. And then as we start to deviate from the snapshot, when we start to do things on our own, and of course we're going to do things on from time to time, we're going to do things on our own. And when we start to deviate from the snapshot, that's when they start to get, like, upset. They start to rage. They start to, like, throw fits and things like that. Or, you know, they start to project, because they want to project all their, you know, all the stuff that they hate about themselves onto their victims, onto their targets. And, you know, they're just all the time, they're just interacting with this avatar that's in their mind. and the more and more that we, do things independent of them, that upsets them. It forces them to realize that we are out there independent of them. We are a person, a human being that exists separate from them. Because what they want to do is they want to enmesh you. They want to bring you so you become one. It's almost like one entity, one organism or something, like with two heads. And they don't care about, what we want or anything like that. They're just completely self-absorbed. They're completely self-entitled. The pathological sense of self-importance coupled with lack of empathy. They're all about themselves. It's like they're in a world of their own. And they can't hear us, they can't see us. I mean, when it comes to hearing us, it's like, we might be trying to get something off our chest and explain something that's important to us. But to them, it means nothing to them. They just bottleneck the information. If it doesn't conform to them, if it doesn't line up with them and their grandiosity, then they just treat it as unimportant. It's almost like you're better off talking to the tree or something. There's more life in the tree. And yeah, they just see us as objects. They just objectify people. It's insane. I mean, they are literally insane. They're psychotic. Full psychotic. And they may look like humans on the outside, on the shell, on the outer shell, but inside they're empty. They think different to us. They see things different to us. They hear things different to us. They feel different to us. It's just the whole thing. They're partly human. There's no love. There's no, emotional resonance. There's no reciprocal, back and forth. There's none of that. It's like we give them love and they just take that as a threat. They just consider things to do with love and intimacy. They just regard that as they put that in the same box as pain. They just think that they get flashbacks of when they were younger, of when they did have that love and then they got rejected or they got neglected and they got hurt and they got, wounded. They got emotionally wounded. So now they just, they were hurt so bad at that time that it just makes them go back to that time and they start to that's why they'll push you away, because it hurts them. It makes them reflect on that time when they, when they were younger, when they got abused and they got rejected and victimized. And so now they just want to just push people away that are trying to love them or trying to be intimate with them and things like that. It's like now all they can give you is an illusion. They can only give you an illusion of love. They've given up on love. They've given up on empathy. They gave up on themselves. Now they just want to sacrifice people. They just want to destroy people now. Because they've got all this rage and hate and bitterness and shame. They're shame-based people. So they just want to like unload all their toxicity, all the negativity, all the stuff, all the pent-up anger and everything. It's like coverts, they'll suppress it, they'll hold it in, they'll like, and it'll just build up, and it's like, you know, one little thing could just blow up their, you know, because they're so ultra sensitive to like criticisms, you know, any potential threats and things like that. Like they're just ultra sensitive to everything around them. You know, if you know anyone puts a dent in their grandiosity, it's like kaboom. It's like, you know, these people are like explode with rage. But they'll want to trigger you, they'll want to like push your buttons, and this is what they'll do. Like, it's like they set you up for failure. They set you up for all this because, you know, their objective is like to individuate and separate from you, because they see you as a maternal figure. They see you as, yeah, their caretaker, you know, the service provider. You know, you're like the bee's knees in the beginning. Like, you're like, the penultimate like person that's just come into their life is going to save them and everything like that. But really, before you know it, they're taking you through this devaluation stage, and it's just like insanity, and it's just like a torture chamber. And you're just back and forth, and you're going through all this like, this rage and this outbursts of, just like insults, guilt tripping, all this toxicity that they're just projecting onto you. And then it's like, it's almost like a swap. It's like they want to be you, and you want to be, it's like they want to be you. They want to steal your beautiful, bright, shining light. They want to steal all your, characteristics and things like that. They want to steal all the beautiful things about you, all the qualities. But at the same time, they want to dump all their like stuff onto you. And it's like they want to rewrite the script, because they see that you're like the maternal figure. You're like their mother. And in the original story, they came out the loser because, they lost their true self. They got abused. They got neglected. They got, harmed. And it's now they just want to rewrite the story. They want to rewrite the story, and they just want to be, on top now. They don't want to be, the victim again. And they want to separate, individuate, and, be their own person and things like that. But they're like, they've got arrested development. Like, behaviorally, they're like, between something like 2 and 5. Like, behaviorally and like emotionally, they're a toddler. That's why they're like, gimme, and take, and like, they're so self-entitled, grandiose, like, the best thing, the best things ever. And they think that, they never do wrong and things like that. And they won't take accountability for anything they do wrong. It's like everything's black and white, or good and bad, right or wrong. There's no like grey area with them. And you can't just like you know, explain things to them like an adult to an adult. Like, it's like you're talking to a child that like doesn't know what's going on. It's like you have to teach them everything and that, but the same, they want to like be the child or something. It's like a catch-22. It's like they want to be the child, but at the same time they want to be the boss. They want to like be the boss, but they don't even know how to, like, you know, drive the car or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're not even old enough to drive the car, but they want to be the boss of it. You know, they don't know where they're going or anything like that, but they still, and at the same time they want to be like, you know, dominating you to the point where, you know, or controlling you, you know, intimidating you, you know, manipulating and all that, like what goes and what, you know, what comes and goes and all this sort of stuff that, you know, they just want to boss everything, but at the same time they're like completely out of control. Like completely out of control. So yeah, it's kind of like, you know, it's inevitable, like, you know, it's gonna end, you know, and yet they still want to like hoover, you know, because they've got this, you know, this avatar that's still in their mind, you know, this object, and you know, they want to return to you and stuff like that, you know. It's just insane, and it just loops around. It just goes on and on and on. It's just like looping around. But I was thinking, like, yeah, of course, like sometimes like you miss the person, you know, but it's like, but then you think, because yeah, it's like that cognitive dissonance thing going on. It's like, you know, are they this person or are they that person? But like, you just got to remember who they really are. You know, because the person who they really are is that person at the end of it. You know, the one at the end of the relationship. You know, the person that they were showing you in the beginning and like through the love bombing and all that sort of stuff, like that's a false character. And yeah, you have like flashbacks or things like that, you know, or like good times and things like that, you know. But it's like that person doesn't even exist. You know, that person was just this made up character. They just mirrored us. Like, you know, who are you actually missing? I mean, this person does, you know, they don't have a true personality or identity. You know, they're not even interacting with like external objects. It's like they're just interacting with these internal objects in their mind. You know, and like they can't make the distinction there, like, you know, what's external and what's internal. And they're just running off this program. They're just like, you know, they suffered the abuse, and the abuse, like, now they're just running off this program. And it's like, it's programmed to like kill. It's like programmed to like seek and destroy. It's like, it's programmed to like, you know, to dominate, to intimidate, to manipulate. You know, there's no emotional component. Like, there's no truth with that. There's no reality with them. Like, you know, they're just 24/7 in a fantasy. How can you have, you know, a relationship with someone who's trying to destroy you? Let's just keep it real. I mean, we're about love. We're about peace. We're about, you know, having a healthy, reciprocal, you know, fruitful, loving, healthy relationship. You know, all the good things. You know, all the good fruit. It's like, nah, they're not about that. you know, they're just about coming in and like, you know, basically using and abusing and like destroying people. It's like they don't have any, you know, they don't have that positive emotions. It's all negative. It's all shame-based. It's all like fear, hate, rage, shame, guilt, you know, all the low vibrational like emotions. So anything they're showing that, you know, that you think that might seem that, you know, that's you know, high vibe or whatever like that, when they're smiling or when they're laughing or when they're like seem like they've got joy and stuff like that, it's like, nah, like all of that's a facade. You know, they weaponize everything. You know, they make you think that, you know, they're this, you know, joyous person or this person that's like full of light and things like that. No, like this person's like completely false. And what they're, you know, what they're projecting there or what they're showing there, it's just like, you know, just a simulation or a simulacrum. It's not even like, it's not reality. You know, they're almost like just robots. They're just like robots, CGI, you know, actors, yeah, robotic, you know, and they're just running off this program from, you know, the abuse and the trauma that they suffered when they were younger. So anyway, it's pretty full on, but yeah, I just some food for thought, just some just thought I'd make a video. You know, I hope everyone's doing well. You know, we've got to remember that, you know, we do have the love. You know, we've got what they want. But we got to put, you know, strong boundaries, you know, keep the strong boundaries around us. You know, recognize, you know, who they are for real. You know, they don't have our best interests at heart. You know, they never did. But yeah, it's all good. Just keep moving forward, keep progressing, keep being awesome. You know, come back to your authenticity, come back to the things that make you, you know, feel good. You know, surround yourself with people who are going to support you and uplift you. You know, encourage you to, you know, people that love you. You know, reach out to people that are going to be supportive and that. Because we all need that from time to time. You know, I understand,